Guys, this is Hayden with Camping World Mesa. Today I'm checking out the Shockwave 2026 and it is the 4114GX. This is an incredible fifth wheel toy hauler with a 14-foot garage. Let's turn the camera around, give you a look. All right, we're on the outside right now, guys. One thing I really do enjoy about this camper is 3 awnings on the outside. We have an awning here with LED light, which keeps bugs away, bright enough to see the stars, bright enough to read at night, dark enough to see the stars. Got that a little tongue-tied, I've said it too many times. But you have 3 awnings here, so you don't have just like one long awning that can potentially bend in the middle. You have 3 to give you the most possible shade, but also the most possible peace of mind that these things aren't gonna bend, because when you have too long of awnings, they're gonna bend after a while. You have these really big windows. So imagine like looking out on the desert with those. We have our outside TV. And then over here we have the step above steps, which adjust individually. So if you're sitting on an angle or some turbulent terrain, you can make one leg longer than the other. That way you always have a nice stable 3,000-pound surface. This has 6-point auto leveling, 1-button push auto leveling. The only kind of auto leveling you can do with a beer in your hand. And it has this safety rail. So the safety rail just slides up like this. And then there's a magnet right there. And now you have your rail nice and compact for when you're driving. And then just opposite, when you want to bring it out, just kind of pop that out there, push this down, and then you have a nice stable rail that goes a lot longer down than almost any handrail I've seen on a fifth wheel or fifth wheel toy hauler. So yeah, there's a lot to love on the outside here. You also have shatterproof solar reflective glass door, so it's not going to break on you, and it is going to keep your solar rays down, which is just going to keep the heat down on the inside. We also have 2-door entry, so 1 door in the garage, 1 door going into the living room. There's many reasons to have 2 doors. I mean, my favorite reason is the fact that if you have all your slides in, you'll have full access to the coach. Another reason, of course, is that if you just want to get into the back and get your toy and you're kind of got dirty feet and everything, you don't have to track that mud all the way through the living area. You also have the fuel pump station, fill it up at the gas station, and you have a little handgun fuel pump that you can use on your toys. You have a rear awning so that when you put your ramp down in patio mode, I'm sure you've seen that where it goes flat, you'll have an awning above you. It is armless awning, so it just goes straight out. You also have prep for backup camera up there. Whew, so many features. Coming around the side, you can see our, oh man, it's getting hot out here. Sorry guys. You can see our triple axle and then tankless hot water heater. And then here's our generator. Give you a quick look at this. Easy push button start. Yeah, I just kind of want to give you guys a look at everything. It's a fantastic fifth wheel toy hauler. It's a little dirty right now, but you know, we're going to wash it before you pick it up. I'll give you guys a little look at the storage. And it does connect to the front area there. Here's where the propane would be, but let's go ahead and take a look at the front storage too. Yes, you have light switches, easy battery disconnects. You can just turn the whole coach off when you're done. Gotta love a battery disconnect. I can't believe they're not on every coach. You know, the battery disconnect when you walk away from your rig after you know, trip or something, you can just hit, rather than going through and turning off every single light, you can just turn off that battery disconnect switch and it's done. It's so much easier. So we're about to go in, but I want to mention one last really important detail about this coach. That is the Aluma structure. So I learned about true aluminum superstructures about a year ago, and that's from the good people at Durango, which is another company, but they did inform me on the importance of true aluminum. So it turns out that, you know, the age-old opinion that there's either fiberglass coaches with, you know, it's the stick and tin or it's fiberglass. A lot of people will say that is like, you know, what are you going to get, stick and tin or fiberglass? The truth is there's really 3 options. And so that's going to be stick and tin, which is aluminum and wood frame, which, you know, very affordable. Depends on what you're doing with it. Not always the best for season coaches, but hey, you know, you got wood as your frame, which can potentially experience water damage or rot. We all know those stories. A lot of people, you know, buy them for easy, quick family campers. Then you have the fiberglass units, which people assumed always was a metal frame surrounded by fiberglass, but that's not true. So the average fifth wheel fiberglass is actually going to have wood inserts along the sidewalls. Now that's going to be heavier, and it's going to have potential for water damage, and it's not as strong as aluminum. So what a true aluminum superstructure is, or as Shockwave calls it, the Aluma superstructure, is going to be 100% aluminum framing throughout the entire coach. It's lighter, it's stronger, and if you get a puncture, well, there's just less chance of water damage. And that's what this coach is. So it's an Aluma structure, 100% aluminum. They don't cheat you with wood blocks throughout it like other brands do. So something really important to keep in mind. I just found out about this year, like I said, and I've been, selling RVs for 5 years, and my dad sold them since I was 5. So I've always been around these things, and I just found this out. So keep in mind, that's a very important feature. If you think you're getting all aluminum, you have to make sure that it's either a aluminum superstructure or it's Aluma structure, different names for it, but it's got to be true aluminum. The sidewalls are also vacuum bonded, not pinch rolled, so it's a lot higher quality. And finally, we are getting on the inside. Sorry, I just got really passionate about that superstructure. So the number one, I'm going to go to wide angle lens here, just so you guys have a better look. So one thing that everyone talks about with this floor plan is this is one of the very, very few fifth wheel toy hauler floor plans that is going to have like a realistic living area. We've all seen the fifth wheel toy hauler where it's just the slide has one couch across of it, and then you have the kitchen in here and then a TV here, and there's nowhere else to sit. There's no tables. Shockwave is introducing a similar design to like what Grand Design does with the M-Class, but you got a real L couch, you've got theater seats, they recline, you have cup holders. I feel like I'm in a real living room right now. I'm not cloistered to the side, sitting down for a few minutes before I go back out and ride my toy. Like, I can come in here on a rainy day and like really relax and have a good family time. Think about it, like sometimes rain and snow can ruin your trip. It might force you into your tent. It might force you into your toy hauler. It might force you into your RV. How nice would it be if you could still make memories even on a rainy day or a ruined vacation? You can still come together as a family. Why do you think people have backyard camping trips? It's because the true love about travel and camping and adventure is the people you spend time with. Even if that person is just yourself, you still want to give yourself or your family or whoever you're with, the absolute best experience possible, no matter what's going to happen. And this is a situation where, hey, you might say, I don't really want to spend a lot of time in the trailer. We just want it to be, like a place to sleep. Well, this is going to be a really great time if it turns out that you have to spend more time in here. Because maybe it did get snowed out. Maybe you did get too much rain. Maybe there was a massive storm outside. You can play games at the table. It does extend as well. You have USB and USB-C chargers. And we have windows. The blinds just kind of have accordion style on them. Really, really nice big windows. You got to admire this. Designer lighting. Gotta love the designer touches around the TV. Electric fireplace. Nice thing about that, perfect for Arizona. I mean, how cold does it really get here? Depending on where you're going, you might experience a little bit of cold where you want a little bit of warmth, but man, you just don't want to turn that furnace on. Now you have the option, electric fireplace. We're coming into the garage now. You got to admire the fact that they, got pretty creative with their colors. I don't know exactly what color this is, but it's really beautiful. As you guys know, I'm sure you've seen these before, but we have double bunks and then they have the table bunk. So the table bunk, you just remove the legs, pull the table out of here. These cushions will fold over, and then this cushion will fold over. It'll make one long big bed, or you could, sleep two people side, depending on, your orientation or who's sleeping there. You just have a lot of options. They're 100% electric. You have a little bed lift button right here. And then we just start, I'll lift the bottom first, and then it'll pick up that one as it goes up. Very easy to use. A lot of options for lighting. Here you can control your awnings as well. And then here we have the mid bunk. It has TV hookups as well. The idea being, if you're going to have your toy in here and these beds up, your guest and or your child might be sleeping up here. So it'd be nice for them to have their own, hookups, TV, place to put a phone charger. Ladder mounts right on. And then it does have the option for the patio. As you can see, I call them helicopter cables because supposedly they're the same cables that lift like tanks and stuff in the military. So they're supposed to be really, really strong. I haven't seen that myself, but that's just what my reps say. But you have the helicopter cables, on the side, and then you have the fold-up fence for the patio. So this thing is 100% ready to go for your backdoor toy hauler patio. Very, very popular option these days. You can add these on to any coach, but it's just nice to know that Shockwave's including the option for your patio. So let's head out of the garage. We've checked out the living room. Big window over the couch as well. Here in the kitchen, this is real cast iron on your 3-burner stove. You can feel it when you touch it. You have lights. Can't really see just because it's daytime right now, but you have lights that start up around the handles, and then an oven light as well. Lots of counter space. It's all soft close, as you can see. I can pretty much throw these as hard as I want to, and they're not going to slam. Perfect for kids. Under here, plenty of storage under the sink, easy access to plumbing. Don't be fooled, it's not a mess, guys. This is just winterization fluid. It's in every RV. We pump them through the pipes before we ship them. It just is what it is. Forest River's going really over the top these days with the sinks. You gotta love just how much they're giving you. We just got this one in, so we're still unwrapping everything. But, you got a vegetable wash pan. You've got a separate drain tub for washing dishes. And then that way you could like rinse over here and then just soap them up here. You also have the waterfall option and then a pint washer for your beers. Nice pantry storage. An outlet in your pantry as well. Put your coffee maker in there, just save space. Bread box. There is solar on board. This unit has 200 watts of solar. The fridge, might as well talk about that now. The fridge is a high efficiency 12 volt, so with the 200 watts of solar already on the roof, and if you added a lithium battery, that fridge will pretty much run all day and night. Depending on what else you're using, if you're constantly using electricity on a battery, might be something, where you might need 2 batteries or another solar panel. But yeah, 200 watts of solar and a lithium battery. If you're just running like lights and a fridge, then you're pretty much fine. That thing's never going to turn off. Nice size microwave. Here, I'm going to turn off the wide angle lens just so you can see how big this thing really is. Okay. More cabinets. And lots of counter space. I'm going to go back to wide angle lens. I'm just a big guy going through here. Yeah, a lot of counter space. You also have the table as well to add. Yeah, there we go. Comes out, then you can put your silverware in there. Beautiful. Thermostat. It's so nice to see that we're moving away from touchscreens. Because there for a while, every RV had touchscreens. If one button goes out here, one button goes out here. But if one button goes out on a touchscreen, everything goes out. So I'm glad to see we're going back to a more analog kind of approach. Obviously, everything's always going to be digital, electric. We're getting more and more away from analog or manual options. But at least it's nice to know we're going to like a more simple approach with buttons module rather than a touchscreen. Just because it's just kind of intimidating to think that you might be, out camping and then you have to rely on this little touchscreen to close your slide, open your awnings, turn on your lights. And so it's cool to see that with Shockwave. Nice size medicine cabinet here. Like, you gotta admit, that's really thick. If you spend any time in an RV, you would know that like these medicine cabinets 9 times out of 10 are like that thick. A lot of counter space too on the table as well. We should need to clean this thing. It just came in. Still a great coach, even for a dirty coach. This thing is a great coach. Master bedroom with a bed slide, so you can walk around. You got plenty of space on both sides. Go over here on the closet. That's wonderful. Plenty of AC adapters, so you can run like a CPAP machine or your phones or your iPad. Little linen cubby, blankets. My microfiber blanket can go in there. Got a little phone bed with USB and USB-C adapters on both sides. So you can put your phone there, maybe even, I don't know, like walkie-talkies or AirPods or something like that. Whatever charges on a USB. Underwear, socks. And there's more shelves for, I guess you could put like maybe towels there. Washer dryer setup, and then a hanging rack in case you don't want the washer dryer. They're probably making options to where some units come with the washer dryer and some just have prep for them. I'll have to find out from my Shockwave rep, but we do have stackable washer dryer here. Very nice. The hookups are there, and yes, it already has the dryer vent cap, so you wouldn't have to install. Yeah, so we're fully ready to go here. Like everything is done. There's no more prep needed. Nice thing about this, I just thought about this. So normally on a fifth wheel toy hauler, you have the washer dryer hookups in the garage. And in this case, they're in the bedroom, kind of like a standard front bedroom fifth wheel. So what that means is just you have less cargo to worry about in your garage. Everyone's getting longer and longer side-by-sides these days. And the last thing we want is to have to put more stuff in the garage where we're parking our side-by-sides, our kayaks, and maybe you don't have any toys, maybe you just use the garage for storage. Now you can just have peace of mind that your washer dryer are going to stay in the bedroom just like a normal fifth wheel. So really happy to see that. It's a small touch, but it's a nice touch. And no, they're not the only fifth wheel toy hauler who's doing that right now. But there's not a lot of them. I think there's a lot more where the washer and dryer is in the garage. It just seems like a natural place where they're always putting them. A little dusty, but still nice. There we go. Magnets. That's why I was worried. It's always the thing with RVs is like you don't know how much to pull because you're worried if like, am I going to break it because it's locked, or am I just not pulling hard enough? This one just has some nice little magnets right there. Just pull. Yeah, and then hey, you know, this is an option I'm seeing a lot of people just fawn over, is a little seat near the bed, and this one's kind of by the window. The idea is like when you're in an RV, 9 times out of 10 when you're in the bedroom, the only place to sit down is the bed. And that's fine and everything, but you know, if I'm putting on my shoes while, you know, she's sleeping or something, I'm, you know, going to be making noise and everything. It's just kind of nice just to, and sometimes you want to have conversation across from people, you know, like you want to sit next to the window and look out while maybe putting your shoes on. You got like a cup of joe, you know, sitting right here. Maybe the news is on, and you know, you're just talking to your wife while she's kind of laying there, maybe kind of scrolling while you're just kind of looking out the window or talking to her, just waiting for her to get ready. It's kind of nice just having this little seat right here that I can just use to put my shoes on, or it's just an option, you know. You're not going to think about these things until you're, you know, in an RV for a long period of time. And a lot of people talk about how much they love a second seat in the bedroom. Good place for shoes, maybe winter clothes. And with this one, there's not really like lift up under storage, but you do have like a pass-through storage under the bed. So a little different, but very nice. TV hookups for the bed. And I think we've pretty much covered almost everything on this coach. As I wind down and turn the lights off, I'm going to kind of look at the last few things. One thing I noticed about the Shockwave is the low wall furnace vents. So down here you'll see that little circle right there is your furnace vent. And it's on the low part of the wall because when you're camping, it's really easy to get this whole thing covered in rocks and dog. So just with having low wall furnace vents instead of floor vents, you have less of a chance of all that garbage going into your pipes. So yeah, last little looks around here. Just gonna start turning it off. You guys can see where all the buttons are for everything. You have more options out here. Security light's gonna be outside. Side awning is that awning, and then the rear awning is going to be the one that goes above the patio, and then the floodlight, and then accent light in here. So you have a really cool accent light that goes all the way around. That looks like it's coming out of the side of the bed lift. Gives it a nice look. I like that. I don't know what it is about it. It's beautiful. Anyway, I'm done crying. You also have dimmer switches on almost all, if not all, your lights, so you can really control how much is coming out there. Cool. Let's shut her down. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. This has been Hayden with Camping World Mesa. Oven light there and there. Hayden with Camping World Mesa. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.